crazy to me. Still crazy.
How is that so crazy to you, Tyler?
I don't know. Dude, you go through a lot in that house. Your mind plays tricks on you. Maybe I just used it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. So for anyone listening who's not familiar with Big Brother, first of all, what's wrong with you? But second of all, it's a great show where a bunch of people get put into a house for the summer. They can't have any touch with the outside world, and they have to navigate relationships in this house with the ultimate goal of being the last house guest standing. So everyone gets kind of voted out, that kind of thing. So it takes a lot of social maneuvering. It takes a lot of gameplay, depending on how you define that. But it's a really fascinating social experiment to watch people navigate this without any distractions, no phones, no TVs, no newspapers. They have no idea what's going on in the world. All they have is the relationships with each other in the house. Mm-hmm. So when you entered this house, so you're sent into the house, here you are, doors closed, you're essentially in there for what, like 100 days, something like that?
Yep. Unless I got voted out the first week.
Right, which you did not.
No.
So you have no idea what's going on the outside. So as a viewer, and as all the people watching the show, they're like, oh my God, this Tyler guy, he's totally it. You first come on the show, you're a lifeguard from, you're a beach guy. This perception is this guy's like a surfer dude kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And within the first couple weeks, you're like, this guy's brilliant. This guy's brilliant.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, I kind of want to just use that as a strategy. Everyone has everyone has a stereotype, and
mm-hmm.
I definitely wanted to play mine up and make sure everybody believed it,
Yeah.
And I think just based on who I was, people probably definitely judged me at first, and then once I really learned who I could trust in the house, I kind of showed how much I knew about the game, and then
Mm-hmm.
just tried to get my team as far as I could, and it worked out pretty well for us.
I would say level 6 pretty much dominated. That was his crew.
No, yeah, we did good. It was fun.
So then, if you haven't seen the show, people go back and stream it, because it's one of the best seasons ever. It really is. Just because what I loved about your gameplay, Tyler, is your vibe shined through. So even though you had kind of an idea of how you wanted to play the game, this
mm-hmm.
It's more like your emotional intelligence was through the roof. You could relate to people and resonate with them and connect with them in a very authentic way that to the American viewing, so the viewing public, you were very authentic. It wasn't like you were pretending to be this authentic guy. So you were just purely you. And so I think that's part of what your success was on the show, certainly, and just in life with all of these great trails that you've blazed, is you've just been showing up fully as you, and you hear the fears and the doubts that come up. And how do you navigate the fears and doubts, whether it was in the Big Brother house or outside of it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, going back to what you said, just how I kind of acted towards people, I definitely got that from my real life. There's always just been an urge in me to, I always felt like I had such a good mindset, and it's gotten me so far. So whenever I see somebody that maybe isn't quite like grasping what's going on at the moment, I always have a natural instinct to go in and help them out. So
mm-hmm.
when I was trying to talk people through things in that house, it wasn't me playing a game usually. It was me just person to person, let's help each other. Maybe try and think this way, or try and do this, and maybe it'll relax your mind. So it was cool
mm-hmm.
that America kind of saw that
and
appreciated it a little bit. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm, big time.
Yeah, as far as the doubts go, in that house, I kind of just had to, I would always tell people, I was I'm just going to assume everyone hates me in America, and then if one person likes me, it'll be a bonus. That was my mindset going in there. Because you truly have no idea, and there's no way to know. And after 100 days of just speculation as to what's going on the outside, you kind of you have to just roll with it and ignore it or do whatever you can. It's the craziest thing.
Mm-hmm. It just is. And so to kind of bring people along on your journey, so you've got this, like you said, you were a teenager when you got kind of like the itch in Ohio. It's like, let me get out of here, see if there's something else going on, lifeguarding in Hilton Head, back to Ohio, back and forth, then off to Australia, then Big Brother, TKO, then Big Brother. And so now you're in Big Brother house. And so all of these events that you say yes to, despite maybe some doubts or maybe even some people in your life saying, what are you, nuts? What do you mean Australia? What do you mean Hilton? Yeah. Like you still say yes and you go forward. You end up in the Big Brother house. You meet someone who also happens to be from Hilton Head, even though your paths never crossed. And so you meet this lovely woman named Angela, who suddenly becomes, well, not suddenly becomes, but ends up being like the love of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crazy how indirectly these things, it's just, you can never expect what is waiting for you once you just go for it, Yeah. And Angela was that thing that all of it led up to, the whole thing.
The whole thing. I mean, it's amazing to see, like, even watching the relationship unfold through the season. I mean, it was, you didn't know it was unfolding, but now looking back, you can go, oh, I can see how that, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was certainly one of those people going, come on, they must like each other. I feel like they like each other.
I think a lot of people saw it before we did.
Yeah.
Or before I did, especially. I think I was probably just in denial that this perfect person actually liked me.
Oh, my God. So funny. So funny. But when I think about, like, that big picture, like we're talking about here today, is like, it brought you, first of all, you were going to be on Big Brother in a different season. You got cut at the end. Like, what a blessing, right? Like, man, it must have been such a bummer at the time. But now looking back, it's like, man, that was such an appropriate left turn that the universe took me on. I wasn't meant to be in that cast. I was meant to be in this one to meet Angela.
Absolutely. It was the perfect thing that could have happened. I would have never gone to Australia, would have never met Angela. Two things that really made my life what it is right now. And that was the best possible thing that could have happened, honestly.
Yeah. And so how has life been outside of the house with Angela and just even like acclimating to the real world?
That's the crazy part. I've been saying recently, like, it almost feels like it's easier in the house than coming out because it's just, it's 0 to 100 out of nowhere, As much as we try to prepare ourselves for how many people or who watch the show and like all the opinions, like it's tough to prepare yourself for that because I wasn't really used to that. I didn't have like the whole social media following before and that, so just kind of navigating that. Like there's a point where you want everybody to kind of understand you, but then there's another point where you have to understand that not everybody is going to understand, and that's okay,
Yeah.
So that's the tough part, but Angela and I having each other is really the best thing possible. Like it's so much easier with her. Like life is good with her.
Nice. It looks like you guys just have a great life, and I think that's important too, because I think a lot of people listening, when they think about blazing their own trail or going after their big dream or just taking risks, I hear from people all the time, clients who I work with, students who I teach, about how they have this dream, but they're afraid to put themselves out there for fear of what people will say, criticism, backlash. You must have dealt with that on such a bigger scale. I mean, while yes, you're America's favorite player and everyone loves you, there's got to be some haters out there, because there's always, those kind of keyboard commando trolls who just, so how do you kind of keep that stuff in check in your mind so you can continue living big?
You kind of just have to really take a step back and look at your conscience at the end of the day. It's like, okay, well, why is this person on the internet saying this? And then you're like, is that true? No, it's not true. Why would I care about it? Like I'm happy. I have the person that I need. I haven't hurt anybody. I'm trying to spread positivity here, and if people don't want to grasp onto that, I feel like they'll either figure it out eventually, or they'll figure it out eventually. Everybody comes around. Everybody's good at the center. There's other factors that factor into why people act certain ways, and you have to kind of take a step back and realize that everybody's human and that it shouldn't be personal every single time, especially on the bigger scale.
Yes, especially on the internet and just social media. And I think think you're absolutely right. I mean, I really don't believe anyone wakes up in the morning and goes, "Whose life can I mess up today?"
No,
it's like
not.
At the heart of it, people are good, and so people operate from a place of pain. And so if they're criticizing you, or if they're like slamming you or knocking you down, they're speaking from their own pain. And I know that's hard to remember, right? It's hard to take that criticism and see it for what it is. But I think you're right. Like if other people's criticism is really getting you down, then just like you said, it's worth turning the spotlight on yourself and going, do I believe that? Like, is there part of me that believes what they're saying? There must be if it's bothering me. Right. So,
exactly.
So then that's what you want to work on.
Take a step back. I think it's good, to kind of step back and just look at it and see what they're saying and see if they're right, and realizing that they're not right. And then you can just release it and let it go. And then all of a sudden, like, you realize that this person might be going through something a million times worse than what you are,
Yeah.
And then eventually everybody will figure it out.
Yeah, everybody will figure it out. Exactly. You're going to figure it out, but you're going to figure it out much more quickly by getting your hands dirty and getting in the mess than, staying locked up in your house and not taking any risks at all.
Exactly.
Exactly. So are you cool with taking a couple calls? People just want to ask you some questions?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right, sweet, everybody. So you're listening to Transformational Clutter Clearing. I'm your host, Kerri Richardson, here today with Tyler Crispen from Big Brother. We're going to jump to the phones here and see what you people want to chat about. Let's go to our line 3, Cynthia in Arizona. Hey, Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Great show. Thank you so much. I love hearing about people really reaching for their dreams. This is so inspiring.
Awesome.
Hey.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm, later in life, I've gone back to school for film and media, and I have a broadcasting background, and I've written a screenplay I finished, and I have a women's wellness book, and my heart loves being on TV. I've won some awards, but I had helped my husband go through a health challenge, and then we're getting back on our feet now. And so I'm putting myself out there. I put myself out for a mentoring, writing program I'm supposed to hear about. And
nice.
My question is, how do you stay encouraged? And then also, I have a very creative mind. Like, I have notebooks and notebooks of ideas and papers with ideas, which I've been clutter clearing since listening to your show, of course, Kerri. And I just, how do you know, what are the next steps when there seems like there's a lot of things coming at you to pursue?
So I'd love to hear from you.
Also, what do you tell yourself as you're going along the path, too?
Yeah. So Tyler, I would love to hear from you, because I know you said, with how much you tried out for Big Brother or just wanting to be on it, how do you stay encouraged when things don't work out the way you had hoped?
I'd say you just have to really take everything as a lesson, just because, you have to prepare that it's not going to be a straight path. Like I said, my story, I wanted to be on Big Brother, and then the second I stopped directly trying, I went on a crazy path, and then all of a sudden I was on Big Brother, so you can never prepare for a straight and narrow path. It has to be different, and it'll help you grow, and it'll help you get there in the long run.
Ah, it's so good. So good,
Very
Cynthia,
true.
right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It's never a straight path. And really, how boring would it be if it was? And I think it's never a straight path because the universe always dreams a bigger dream than we can dream for ourselves. We're limited in our humanness. So if you show up to the next step and then surrender a bit, it's like you're going to be taken down this cool, windy, crazy route that, for Tyler, ended him up in the Big Brother house, which was his dream. And so same thing for you, Cynthia. So then to kind of address the other kind of practical side of your question about all the notebooks and how do you handle all of this stuff, you want to make sure that you are in your physical space, but also energetically aligned and set up to notice opportunities when they show themselves to you and to reach for them. So to kind of get yourself in order, I would encourage you to like look at all those notebooks, all those notes that you have, and identify like which ones of these still support the vision I have for my life, which ones are now kind of outdated and old, and you can just start by sorting them into a couple piles of relevant, no longer relevant. Doesn't mean you're going to trash the no longer relevant per se, but at the very least, let's make sure that you're not like cluttering up your trail so you can continue to blaze it. So I would just have you evaluate what is worthy of still coming along with you on your journey and what it's time to let go of.
Got it. So what you're taking into the future with you, that makes sense.
Exactly. Like you have this vision that you have for your life. And that vision can be a million components deep, but you have this vision, which is like the beacon, that's your why. So as you're making decisions on a daily basis, if you're struggling with a decision or feeling stuck or feeling frustrated, ask yourself, is this pertaining to my why? Does this support that place that I'm going to? And if it doesn't, then it's noise and it's clutter, and it's not worthy of a spot on the journey.
That's an excellent idea. And I've released about 2/3 of my stuff, and I clutter clear when I'm listening to you.
Nice.
And the only other question I have is I've been going through lots of files,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll see my successes, but then I'll see like maybe some people in the business that I reached out to. I have had successes, of course, and won awards. But then there's,
nice.
Like the old agent that didn't work out or whatever, and then I have to stay in a good emotional place. Like, what's something I could tell myself? Because I'll be like, well, that didn't work out, but hopefully there's more people that could help me take the next step in my creativity.
Yeah, I mean, look at exactly what happened.
The directors.
Yeah, look what happened to Tyler, right? He thought he was this close to being on Big Brother. They cut him at the last minute. Right? It was like, damn it, I was so close to my dream. Then he said, he stopped trying. He ended back up on Big Brother in the perfect season for him. So
I love that because I pitched an executive that loved me hosting a show, and then the executive got let go, and then the show didn't happen. So I'm just like putting it out there for, in the future, because I love interviewing people, comedy, won awards, love being in the field, talking to people. So I thought, okay, I'll focus on the screenplay, finish that, and then come back to that. So it was, like you're saying, it's not a straight path. So that's very comforting.
It's not a straight path, and things that don't work out for a reason, even though they can really sting at the time. But it's because there's something bigger and better waiting for you around the corner. So just keep blazing that trail, taking one step at a time, moving forward, knowing that the forward movement alone is success. And then it will.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I mean, that's in and of itself success. So, wish you all the best, Cynthia. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you. Great show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
These lessons are bigger and better. Should we
yes. Yeah. All right, let's go to line 4. Missy in San Francisco. Hey, Missy.
Hi, Tyler. Hi, Kerri.
Hello.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey.
Big fan of Tyler's. Can't even tell you. Been watching Big Brother for years. Oh, my God.
Hey, thanks.
So what a win. Thank you, Kerri.
Yeah, sure.
Tyler, you were so smooth in the season, and I had a question for you. Because, we can watch people unravel in the house.
Yeah.
How were you able to keep your peace of mind? I mean, did you have like a daily centering practice, or how did you keep yourself grounded?
Good question.
That's a good question. I kind of would just have to. I would always just sit back and see the big picture of things. I would always try to stay just a couple days ahead. Like, okay, on this day we're going to do this, and then I won't be feeling as terrible. Like just looking forward to the future and looking forward to new events, and then just finding the littlest things that make you happy, and then at that.
Yeah.
And right when I hit the breaking point of like, okay, this is enough, like that's when Angela and I started getting super close, and then everything felt like it was going to be fine after that.
Right.
It's just like the universe had it out for me eventually. Like right when I hit that point, when I needed somebody else to like talk me through things, then Angela came into the picture big time. So it's, you just kind of have to like learn to do it yourself, and then eventually the universe will just bring it back to you, I guess. That's kind of how I did it.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's that whole, it's that, staying connected to your why, right? So, Tyler, even when you were, when you found yourself up against maybe some difficult days in the house, maybe you were just tired of being there, maybe you were having cabin fever, maybe someone was driving you crazy, or maybe you were fearing that you were going to be on the block the next week, whatever it was like, wait a minute, like you said, here's what's happening tomorrow, here's what's happening in a couple days, like, just focusing on the small steps in front of you while staying connected to your why, which was to ultimately, make it to the end, which you did. Mm-hmm. And, focusing on those small steps, like just what's right in front of me. And it sounds like that was a really important tool you used.
Definitely. Just seeing what the best possible route could be for yourself and then for the people around you too. Like, because at any moment, like, it's easy to just go and, like, I don't know, it's like go off on somebody, but that'll make them feel 10 times worse, and then that'll just come right back to you, and then you'll feel terrible about it later, too. So, like, I always felt like it was just best to kind of see the positives in everybody and then see the good in people and then just go from there. Just keep pushing forward.
It was amazing, too, to watch, Tyler, because it also seemed, again, I've watched the show for a long time. You were playing, like, sort of with intention and, like, deliberately. Anyways, that really came across on the show. I thought I could see someone.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, playing with a conscience. Anyways, I really appreciated your gameplay. Loved it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Missy.
You.
Thanks for calling in. Okay. She makes a good point, Tyler. It's easy to see, like, the different types of gameplay, right? Like, people who come in and they're like, I'm just going to be a hard ass, I'm going to be a villain, I'm going to just, like, I'm just going to steamroll this place, and I'm going to be whatever. I think that's part of, at least one aspect of why you were deemed America's favorite player, is we saw someone with such genuine kindness in his heart still have to make calculated moves in the house. Yeah. But somehow you managed to do it from what came across to us as like a place of integrity and authenticity and never malice, right? So, yeah, I think that's why
what I was trying for.
You succeeded big time, man.
It's important to stay genuine and at the same time not be a terrible person, Like, it's a game that's meant to be selfish, and, like, it takes a different kind of person to even want to do it, So if you can just see it as a game and try not to take things personally, even when people are saying they hate you, you have to just see it as a game, and that's kind of what I tried to do the whole time.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I put myself in there. I'm like, could I do it? I don't think I could do it.
It's tough.
I would be too concerned with, like, what are they saying in the other room? I would, I'm the youngest of 7 kids. How I learned anything in my family was by eavesdropping. So I would just be constantly, like, ear up to the wall with a glass going, are they talking about me? Are they talking about me?
Yep.
That would be tough,
was everybody, man. Like, the first 2 weeks, and then after a little bit, we're like, oh, whatever. Yeah, they're probably talking about me.
You chilled out? Nice. That's nice. So along that line, I want to talk to line 6, Rhonda in West Virginia. Let's see if we can get Rhonda on the line. Rhonda's talking about how she wants to know how you were able to separate your person shots to his gameplay. Let's see. Do we have Rhonda on air?
Hello.
Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. You got a question for Tyler?
I do. The lady actually that went before me kind of had the similar question, so I'm going to change it just slightly and go back to the mindset. And, first let me tell Tyler, I was a huge fan. Level 6 loyalty was unlike any other alliance in Big Brother history. It was unreal.
Those are my people. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, my question is going to be, Angela seems to share the same mindset as you whenever it comes to saying yes to opportunities.
Yep.
Have you guys continued that up after the show? Like, how's that working out for, like, the two of you now saying yes, I guess, together?
Nice.
It's really, like, the best outcome that has happened to me personally is finding somebody that shares that same mindset, I didn't know it was really possible, and I didn't really plan for it to meet somebody else that was so perfect, like, for me, and just having her to share that with and just have these same mindsets, it's kind of like we're just, like, double teaming the world now. Like, we can just take on, new opportunities together, and we just feed off each other's energy. So it's crazy how everything leads to it. Like Kerri said, the universe has like a bigger plan for you, and I didn't even expect to meet somebody like her, and that was the bigger plan. That was the reason why I wanted to be on Big Brother, it turns out. So yeah, just having
That's
each
great.
other now, it's amazing.
And with
So
you guys
good.
both sharing that mindset, like your opportunities are endless.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we say. I always look at her and say the world is ours. Like the possibilities are endless. Like we can do anything.
It is.
Yes. So good. Thanks, Rhonda.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for
you.
calling in.
All right, thanks.
I mean, that's the real kind of crux of the message, right? Like, the world is yours. The world is all of ours. Like, we can do anything. And I know I can hear people's eyes rolling because I can be, I sound a little Pollyanna, but I really believe, and I'm not saying it's without challenges, but that you can do anything. And when I say that, listen to the first thing that comes into your mind to negate that. That's the crap you want to clear. That's the clutter you want to address. It's like when that voice comes up and says, oh yeah, sure, she can say that because of this, or he can say that because of that. That's a limiting belief. Tap into that and go, what's going on here? Like, right? It is yours. You can do anything, which is it's so great to just watch. I mean, the little bit that I'm seeing on social media of your and Angela's life starting to unfold now. I mean, you guys are living together now. It looks like you have a beautiful place. You've got a full, rich life, and you just really genuinely love each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all just stemmed from us both just saying, sure, let's go for it,
Yeah. Had she tried out for Big Brother before this season?
She was actually cut from a different season, the same as I was. It wasn't
come
the same
on.
season I was going to be on, but
Yeah.
it was. I think it was the season afterwards, or the season before. So the
That's
same
crazy.
thing happened to her.
All right, come on. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I know.
amazing. Like, talk about a universal plan, right? Like, you guys were destined to meet each other. And it was like,
Yep.
nope, we're going to take you from that season. We're going to take you from that season. You're going to come to this one. It's stay open, guys, because of that, hashtag
Seriously.
Tangela,
That's right. It was
Yeah.
bound to
All right,
happen.
Yeah, let's go to Tanya, line 5 in Chicago. Is it Tanya? Tanya?
Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. Welcome to the show. You got a question for
Hi.
Tyler?
Okay, well, first, Tyler, can you tell Angela I love her? Like, she's my favorite. She's my 3-season fave.
I will tell her. Thank you.
Tanya loves Angela. Okay, good.
Okay, what are you, most excited for 2019? Like, what are your resolutions?
Nice.
We kind of had joint resolutions, I mean, I touched a little bit on it on my Instagram, but 2018 was really the year for both of us to kind of just really, really go for it, go bigger than we thought. So it worked out pretty well last year. So I think this year we're gonna figure out what our biggest dreams and what our biggest goals are, and just try to put in the steps and make them happen, because it worked out pretty well last year. And hopefully 2020 we're gonna do the same thing, even bigger.
Nice.
Wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not about you, but Mar, I love you, and I met her because of you. She's like my Twitter friend.
Who is that?
Mar.
Tyler.
Hey, Mar.
Her.
Hey, Mar.
Mar.
All right, thanks, Marion. Thanks,
Bye.
Tanya. Good talking with you. Yeah, I think that's a good question. When you, I know Big Brother was a big dream of yours. And so
Right.
now that you've accomplished that, what are some other big dreams? Even if it doesn't matter if they're 20 years down the road, but just off the top of your head, what are some other big dreams you're looking at?
I mean, it's kind of hard, because I have a note in my phone from 4 years ago. It said life goals: get on Big Brother, win Big Brother, and then that was it. So now it's now I have this time to kind of sit and think. I'm like, well, that was quick, I guess. It's 23 now. I can kind of sit and really plan something else with Angela, So now
Yeah.
it's just combining both of our dreams and our goals, and that's the point we're at right now, and it's really exciting.
That's awesome. So I know you probably can't talk of things, but do you guys have projects coming out? Are we going to be able to see you in more places?
Exactly. We
Awesome.
definitely have some gears turning right now.
Awesome.
It's all about the timing,
That's right. I know everyone's been saying this, but we got to see you on The Amazing Race.
I don't know. We're pretty bad with directions, so I don't know. I don't know how well we do on that, but
that might be even more entertaining for the viewing audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's talk to Marion in Sacramento, California, line 7. Hey, Marion.
Hi.
Welcome. You got a question for Tyler?
Hello.
I do. Just want to say hi, Tanya. Thanks for letting me out. But really quick, so I know that you said on the feed that, like, you decided, like, college wasn't for you and stuff. And I just was wondering, like, right now I'm about to graduate. And, like, all my friends are going to grad school. And I'm kind of like, you know what? I think I want to travel, see the world, figure out kind of what I want to do after. How did you feel like, okay, I don't have to live my life, like, by age this, I have to have this. By age that, I have to be married. Like, how did you kind of take that mindset and go with it?
Nice question.
You know, I saw so many of my peers around me just that kind of had the same mindset as I did. I felt like I was stuck, you know. I felt like I was limiting myself by putting these age limits on things. And at the same time, everyone around me was like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I want to be married by this age, but I don't know how it's going to happen. And I'm like, why are we putting all these, like, limits on ourselves, you know? Like, if I want to go travel, I want to do it while I'm young and while I can actually move, you know, because who knows, when I'm retired, I might not be able to walk, you know. Just, I don't know, just using your time the best you can at, like, every moment, not just pushing things off. Just what you truly want to do. You got to really, like, visualize what you truly want to do. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like, okay, the future is, like, it doesn't matter what happens as long as, like, I'm just living my life the best as I can right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like you're never guaranteed, like, tomorrow. So it's like you want to, like, suddenly something terrible could happen to you and you won't be able to do these things. So, like, why not just get out of the way now, and then you always have this experience to, like, live off of. And it's not even about the experience sometimes. It's about the people you meet, like, along the way. That's what I really figured out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a really good point, Tyler. I mean, life is not guaranteed, and that's not to say, like, you just toss away any kind of responsibilities or anything like that. But it's like, don't wait. You know, it's just, you got to grab life now as you can, and be really mindful, Marion, about not living by someone else's timeline. I get it. I get that whole, like, life template that we think is the only one, like, go to college, graduate, then have a job for a couple of years, then get married, buy a house, have kids, like, all that stuff. Like I'm someone, I went to college, I got married, I had the house, the house, I'm still happily married, but the house felt like the kind of roots that I was supposed to plant felt like shackles, and that white picket fence felt like barbed wire. I'm like, I want to break free, which is why I just, sold the house, building a tiny house, going to travel in that. It's like, there's so much more to life than just that template. There's so many more templates to life. So find yours, follow your template. Don't follow anyone else's. Go big. All right, Cynthia, line 3. Let's talk to Cynthia real quick before we finish here. Hey, Cynthia, welcome to the show. Cynthia. Are you with us? Hello, Cynthia. All right, we'll wait on Cynthia until she gets us off mute or something. But so you've got big dreams coming up that are 2019, 2020, down the road. So as you said in the house, and as you often said, let's give the people what they want. So
yeah.
So you see, like, a full-on you and Angela in the future, like, blazing trails together, doing cool things, neat things. You've met each other's families. How are things vibing? Everything's good. It feels like there's just a huge weight lifted off my shoulders that I didn't even know was there. Just when I'm with her, So yeah,
you said, you hit it on the nail on the head earlier when you said the universe really has a bigger plan for you, because definitely didn't see this one coming.
Yeah,
and I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah. Well, you're both lucky how the universe just kind of put you together in that way. I mean, it's pretty amazing to see how I had no idea that she was cut from a previous season as well. I mean, that's just
it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's just crazy how things line up when we get out of our own way, right? So it's like, have these ideas and have these plans. So it's important to have goals and plans, right? But also to not be so tied to the outcome. Because then that's when you just get in your own way. I mean, so when you were cut from Big Brother that season that you were so close and you were cut, what went on for you right after that? Right after that disappointment of like, man, it was just an arm's length and now it's gone. What happened for you after that mentally?
Mentally I was in a tough place for a while, because that was really when I started. I think I was going into my 4th year of college, and I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was like, oh man, like I can either just sit back and really figure it out, and I tried to, but nothing was really coming to my head, and that's kind of what led to me just saying, you know what, let me just go to Australia, let me meet some people, see some cool things, and then we'll come back and I'll reassess. And this was going to be like the summer that I didn't really know what the future was going to hold, in the fall. And then Big Brother happened, and then Angela happened.
Wow. And here you are. It's amazing. I mean, it really speaks to like that kind of like shaking off the dust, right? Like when you're kind of in a routine, going through the motions, doing your thing, going to school, whatever, and it's just feeling like it's not resulting in what you want, that it's like you got to kick off the dust and go, I got to mix this energy up and do something different. As kind of simple and almost silly as it can sound, like that's what I say to people. If you're feeling like super stuck in your life, take 5 minutes and like clear out a drawer, or like journal out your thoughts or something. Just like wake things up a little bit. Things have gotten stagnant, stale. Wake things up just by moving the energy around a little bit, and whether it means going from Ohio to Australia or just just stirring something up, right? So it's awesome. I think you're incredibly inspirational, Tyler, and really, really psyched you took this time to talk with me. So where can people follow you on your future adventures, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? What's the best place for people to find you?
Thank you for having me. Seriously, this is amazing. Instagram, I'm at Tyler Crispen 2.
Cool.
And it's pretty much the only platform I'm active on.
Okay,
now.
great.
So
Instagram at Tyler 2. Awesome. We'll see you there, Tyler. Thanks so much for being on the show. It was really great talking with you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Take care.
Take care.
Yeah. All right, guys. I mean, inspirational, right? Like just listening to Tyler, listening to like, and I know how tempting it is to be like, he's so young and the world is his oyster. He's got his whole life ahead of him. We all have our whole life ahead of us. It's just, don't let age be a limit. And I think it can be really powerful to learn from someone who isn't as encumbered by 60 years under his belt or whatever to, sure, there are a lot more responsibilities when you're older. I know that personally, right? But it doesn't need to mean that you can no longer blaze new trails. We hear that we can learn from our elders, but there's a lot to learn from our youth too, or for the younger generations. Like, as you get older, you tend to just get a little bit more set in our ways. We get maybe a little bit cynical sometimes, maybe not as open to possibilities, because we can find lots of reasons to not do certain things. We can find lots of what really feel like super valid and legitimate reasons why we can't do certain things. We'll have more mental clutter, more belief clutter coming up, but that is all stuff. This is what I talk about. This is all stuff that can be cleared, which is why I felt it was really going to help you guys and be beneficial, and so cool to talk to Tyler to just get that kind of fresh perspective of like, yeah, you know what? He's been through some stuff. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, the idea of losing your father at such a pivotal age, just when you're graduating high school and embarking on in the world as a young man, to have your father pass and to kind of have to find your own trail with what you've been taught in your previous 17 years, and just not letting other people's thoughts or input or fears or doubts to get in your way, so much so that you don't take any action.